Hey guys, welcome to your paint night take home kit from the Haltom City Public Library. If you have not been to one of my programs before, I'm Lonnie. I do all of the adult programming at the library, including our online ones throughout summer. So we are going to be painting a cactus today. In your kits, your bags, you're going to have this picture, your reference picture. You're going to have paint. They're going to be in little cups, so they're not going to be on this plate. You're going to have a canvas. And if you requested paintbrushes, you'll have paintbrushes as well. What you're going to need to provide yourself at home are going to be paper towels, a cup for water, and a paper plate, plastic plate, any kind of plate for mixing the paints. They are acrylic paint, so they're water-based. So if you only have a dinner plate and you want to use that, that's fine. You can wash off the paint afterwards. Let's see. That should be it in terms of supplies. Make sure you keep your little reference next to you. I'm going to try to show as well as I can on this canvas, but just in case you don't see anything, you'll have that paper next to you. And so we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to do is the sunset in the background, and we are going to start with the red on the bottom. So what we're going to do is take our paintbrush and dip it in the red paint and start painting across the bottom. We are gradually going to go from red up to blue. So it's like a sunset. And if there's times I don't talk, I'm sorry. Or I talk too much, I'm sorry about that too. Make sure while you're doing this, you get the sides of your canvas. Otherwise, you're just going to have white edges around your painting. Then you're going to dip your paintbrush in a little bit of water. And we're going to mix a little bit of yellow in with the red to make orange. And that's going to be next on our sunset. And again, make sure you paint the edges. And you're going to overlap the red a little bit so it blends in together. Otherwise, you're going to have just a whole bunch of different colored stripes. And then gradually you'll add more and more yellow to your red to make it more orangey. So hopefully you can see we're going from pure red into orange. And then we're going to grab some yellow that we're going to mix with a little bit of white. And mix that into the orange. I am not painting my edges for sake of time in teaching this, but please don't forget on every single color to wrap your paint around the edges. Okay. So once you have the light yellow in the middle, we are going to wash out our brushes really well because we're going to go into blue now. And if we mix red with blue, it's going to give us purple, which is not what we're after. So you have two different color blues in your kit. You're going to use the lighter blue color for first. So you're going to take some of that blue and you're going to mix that with white as well. And then that's going to come up above your yellow. When you overlap the blue with the yellow, it's going to turn a little bit green, which is fine. Shows more of the gradation in color. And then from that light blue, you're going to add some of your dark blue to the color you just painted. And that's going to go next. If you're noticing a lot of streaks in your paint, you might have too much water on your brush. So all you have to do is get a paper towel, dab your brush off, and go back over. Likewise, if you are painting and your paint is just not moving on your canvas, it's just a giant blob somewhere on the side, add a little water to your paintbrush. That'll help move the paint across the canvas. And again, don't forget the sides. And then finally, we're going to take just the darkest blue and paint that right across the top. So you should have the background of your painting done. It's going to go from dark blue to light yellow, orange, then red. If there's any part of it you don't like, now's the time to fix the background. So just wash out your brush really good. If you hated the orange, you can go back, make a different color orange. I don't necessarily like the yellow, so I'm going to go back and show you how to change that up. I'm going to grab a little bit more yellow, mix it on a fresh plate. And come back over. And if you do change a color, don't forget to change it on the side, or you'll have your old color on there. Okay, so once you're happy with this, you're gonna let it dry for just a minute. You're gonna wash out your brush really good. dry it off. So while this is drying, some announcements. If you are not registered for our summer reading program, please do so. Every 5 days you log that you've read, and you can read anything from your cereal box to a novel, and your email, listen to a book in the car, read a book to a kid. Anything you do that counts as long as you've read during the course of a day. And every 5 days that you log, you get an entry into our weekly and grand prize drawings. Our weekly drawings are gift cards that local businesses have provided. We have month passes to the Electric Starship Arcade. We have $10 gift cards to Fire Cup Coffee. We have games provided by Texas Bingo. Pump and Munch donated Target gift cards. So you have a chance to win all sorts of cool stuff just by logging your reading. And then okay. Just do this a little bit. You can go do something else while your painting's drying. I can't. So you do not have to quicken the drying if you don't want. Okay. So mine's not completely dry, but we're gonna move on. Make sure yours at home is dry. Otherwise, you're just going to smudge paint around. You are going to take your medium-sized brush, and if you look at your reference sheet, I have 2 different types of cacti on here. I'll show you how to do both of them today, but if you don't like both of them, if you only want one, if you want 3, if you don't want any cacti, I guess, if you're really excited about the sunset you just painted, you can keep that. Whatever you want to do, but I'll show you how to do both of these today. So we are going to do the big, tall, light green cactus first. We are going to get white on our brush, and you're going to decide where you want it on your sunset. And then you're just going to paint a big, tall finger looking thing and paint it all white on the inside. If some of the color shows through or bleeds through, that's fine. This is just a base coat for the cacti. We're going to cover it with the greens later. But painting on white is going to be easier, make the green colors pop a little bit more. So once you have one tall, giant, fingery looking thing, we're going to put arms off of the side of it. So wherever you decide to put your arms, you start skinny and then get bigger towards the top. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then we're going to do 2 more. Or if you want 7, you can put 7 on there. I'm putting 3. And make sure the insides of these are painted solid white as well. Again, having some paint show through is okay, but you don't want all of it too. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the weird small lumpy round cactus. I think that's what it's called. We're going to use a medium brush with white paint, and we're just going to start. So I'm going to paint the bottom one the biggest. And then gonna paint another big lump coming off of him. And you don't have to make it look exactly like mine looks. You can paint the lumps wherever you want to put the lumps. However big or small you want to make them. That's completely up to you. I'm going to put another little one coming off the side. I'm sure these cactuses have real names. I don't know what they are. And then we're just going to keep building this one up by adding lumps on top of lumps until it's the size you'd like. And I'm putting mine where it's hanging off the side of the painting. If you want your entire cactus on the painting, you don't want it to hang off, that's fine too. You do not have to overlap and have it hang over the side. Just for the lumpy cactus, they tend to get smaller as you go up. Okay, so I have the base coat of both of my cacti done, and we're gonna let this dry again. So if you wanna go do something while it dries, feel free. If you wanna wave it in the air, that's fine too. Get a good arm workout in. At this point, you definitely want it almost completely dry, otherwise you're going to continue to bring up the colors from the background into your cactus. So while that's finishing drying, you can rinse your paintbrush out. We're going to use the same size paintbrush to put the green colors into the cacti. So like the white undercoat, we're gonna start with the tall, skinny, light green one first. So we're going to take some of our green And we're gonna mix some yellow into it to give it that lime green color. So it's just gonna be a more yellow green than green green. You're gonna wanna mix quite a bit of this for the base coat. And if you hate that color green, you don't have to paint it that color green. You can paint it whatever color green you like most. Or if you hate green in general, it can be red. So we're gonna go in and paint over the white base coat that we just painted. And we'll be putting some shadows and everything in here. So if it's not perfect or perfect up to the lines, it's okay. Okay. I'm only going to paint one of the little arms to show you guys what to do. So same thing, we're going to take that same color, paint over for the base coat. So to add some depth to the cacti, we're going to add some highlighting and shadows. So for the shadows, we're going to take the green, the plain green, not the green yellow you just made. And we're going to get our brush pretty wet. And we're going to paint that green along the right side of the cactus. We're going to blend it in with the light green. So if you can see, the one side is starting to get darker for our shadows. And if you find it's blending too much, let your lighter green paint dry a little bit. And then you'll be able to get a darker line without it blending completely into your other green. We're going to do the same thing, use that green, the dark green color, at the base of the little cactus arm. So if the light is coming from the left side of this cactus, the shadow is going to be on the right side. And you'll do the same thing for the other cactus arms. Now we're going to take that light yellowy green that we did for the base coat and add a little bit of white to it. And that is going to be the highlights where the sun is hitting the cactus. So we're going to come in on the other side and add lighter green. And the same thing on the cactus arms. So you should have a lighter side of your cactus and a darker side. Hopefully you can see that. And then once you are done with all of your cactus arms that you have on that guy, we're going to move over to the short round cactus. So the way I have him painted, he's a little bit more blue-green than yellow-green. So we're going to rinse out our brush, and hopefully you guessed it by saying it's more blue-green. We're going to add some blue to our green. We're going to take our plain green and mix the darker color blue with it. Until you get a greenish blue that you like. And again, mix quite a bit because we're going to be using it to paint the entire base coat. And if you mix a color and you put it on there and you're like, ugh, I hate that, that's fine. Just let it dry. Mix a color you like and you can start all over. Okay. So I think this is the color I want. We're going to do the same thing. Just paint over the white. And if your paint's not moving, just remember to add a little bit of water to your brush. And just like the long tall cactus, I am just going to paint one of these little nubs, but all of them will be painted on yours at home. If I painted all of them, this video will be like an hour and a half and you will stop watching very quickly. Okay, so I have the big one and a little one painted. And the same thing that we did with the tall one, we're going to do with this one. We're going to have a light side and a dark side. So for the dark side, we are going to use the bluish green that we just painted, and we're going to mix even more blue with it. And just like the other one, the shadow is going to be on the right side. And the sun's going to be coming in from the left. So you're going to put the darker blue-green on the right side on both the big one and the little one. So just like we did up here, close to the base is going to have some of the darker color, and then up the right side. That I'm not rinsing my brush out, I'm just wiping the excess paint off. And we're going to grab some white and mix it with the original middle color as well. So that's going to be our highlighted portion of this cactus. Just like the other one, the highlights are going to be on the left. And since the paint is still wet underneath, you can blend it as much or as little as you'd like. If it's not blending well, wet your brush a little bit more. So hopefully you can see that the left side is a little bit more bright than the right side. And we're going to do the same thing on his little arm. So hopefully that all made sense and you can kind of see it in the video. So we're going to let that dry and we're going to move to the sky. We're going to put some stars and a moon, and then we'll come back and do the final details in our cactus. So we're going to rinse out this middle-sized brush. We don't need it anymore. So rinse it out, dry it off, and put it aside. What we need is our smallest brush now. So we are going to wet it and dab it off. We don't want it too wet. And just dip it right in the white paint. And we are just dotting the sky however you feel like it to make stars. Any old pattern. I know it's kind of hard to see on the camera. And then we're going to do a moon. So I'm doing a crescent moon. If you want to do a full moon, if you don't want to do any moon, that's totally up to you. But again, it's just plain white paint. And wherever you want your moon and your sky to go. Your background should be dry. So if you need to rest your hand down a little bit, you can. If your background is not dry, please don't do that. You'll be covered in blue paint. So there's my moon and my stars in the sky. So while we finish that sky, hopefully your cactuses were drying a little bit more. So we're gonna put some details into them. Okay, and we're gonna start with the tall green, light green cactus. We are going to use the green just as it came in your jar. And just dip your brush in it. And we are going to just start making little dash marks down the cactus. I don't know if you can see that little line I started right there. So it's just tiny little dash marks in the darkest green. And then you're going to do the same thing next to it and down the entire cactus. It's probably much easier to see on the example sheet than it is to see on my canvas right now. And don't forget to do the little cactus arms as well. Start at the top and just dot them all the way down. Okay. So you're going to finish up all of the arms and the cactus with those dots, and you'll rinse your brush out. Then on the blue-green cactus, we are going to dip our brush back in the white and just put little white dots on the cactus in no specific pattern. So hopefully you can see that. And we're going to make sure we do all of the little arm thingies that are coming off of this one as well. So when you are done with all of your dashes and dots on both the cacti, the last thing we're going to do is put some flowers on it. So we're going to rinse out our brush one more time. We're going to continue to use the smallest one. And we are going to paint them pink. So we're going to take a little bit of our red and mix it with a little bit of our white until we get a nice pinky color that we like. And then wherever we want on the cacti, we are going to just scribble in a circle to make the flower. It's very technical, and I'm really not lying. We are just literally scribbling in a circular shape. And it comes out mostly looking like a flower. So we're going to place those around wherever we would like a flower on our cactus. We're going to put a second one up here. Hopefully you can see those up there. Perfect. And then we are going to rinse our brush out one more time when we're done with all of those flowers on the cactus, wherever you want them, however many you want, that's up to you. But we're going to rinse out our brush, and we're going to mix a tiny little bit of white with a tiny little bit of yellow for the center of our flowers. We're just going to dot right in the center. Now, it's probably really hard to see. But again, you can see it a little bit better on your piece of paper. So that's it for this painting. So once you're done with it, if you would email me a picture, I would love to see them. My email address is lhahn@haltomcitytx.com. Really like to see them, please. I miss seeing everything you guys are doing along with me, which we'll be doing again soon in person, I hope. Until then, I hope you enjoy this painting. And again, email me, have fun, sign up for summer reading.